A quick reminder, please silence your cell phone before we begin. Cell phone video recordings by the media are not permissible during the press conference. For those joining us remotely through Zoom, please use the raise hand function if you'd like to ask a question. We'll take all in-person questions first, then we'll move to Zoom. We have 15 minutes with players, 15 minutes with coach. Please wait for the mic holder to reach your location, state your name and affiliation, and then please designate which student athlete your question is directed for. All right, we're now joined by student athletes from Iowa State University. We have sophomore Emily Ryan and senior Ashley Joens. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. Tommy in the front.
Tommy Birch, Des Moines Register. Emily and Ashley, just what have you seen so far from catching up on Georgia?
Let's start with Ashley and then go to Emily.
Yeah, we watched them play Dayton yesterday, so just knowing that they're a tough team and they're going to come out and give us everything they have, so we just have to, we're going to put in the scout today and just get ready for them.
Yeah, like Ash said, we watched them yesterday against Dayton, but other than that, we haven't seen a whole lot yet. We're going to learn a lot about them today and prepare the best we can and get ready to go.
How much did that help being able to come out onto the floor and sit in the stands and actually watch them live?
Let's go Ashley and then Emily again.
Yeah, you just kind of see them play when they get down or get in a tough situation, see how they react and kind of see their tendencies as well. And we'll see that more in the scouting report we put in today. So I think just kind of watching them play and kind of figuring out what they like to do.
Yeah, being able to watch them just get familiar with the pace of play and how they prefer to play the game will be important for us. But honestly, we'll work hard today to figure out what we need to figure out and get ready to go.
I know this is tough to answer because you guys were probably thinking more about your game that's coming up, or that was coming up after Georgia, but did you have any takeaways from the small amount of time you watched them play on the court?
Let's go Emily and then Ashley.
Yeah, like you said, we were really focused on our game yesterday, so weren't super locked in on the game before us. But from what we saw, they're just a really athletic, skilled, talented team. They're in the NCAA tournament for a reason, and they are in the second round for a reason. So we're going to have to prepare hard and be ready to go.
Yeah, like Emily said, they're a very talented team and very athletic. So I think just the main thing is playing our game and focusing on who we are and really buy into the scouting report.
A reminder to please state your name and affiliation before asking your question.
Rob Gray, Cedar Rapids Gazette. For Emily, Coach Fendley joked before you were going to play a 9 p.m. game that you're usually in bed by then. How long did it take you to actually get to sleep after playing in that type of tense first round game?
Yeah, after a game, you're always a little amped up, so getting calmed down and going to sleep is tough. So it was a late night for sure, but we're going to be ready to go tomorrow.
And for Ashley, kind of in the same vein, I mean, you guys spinning forward, like trying to think about, you know, hey, what can we do better, you know, late into the night or early into the morning the same way?
Yeah, we just have to come in today and really focus in. We have one day to prepare, so just listening to the coaches and doing our best to buy into what we're scouting and get ready to go.
I know Coach Fendley can be very specific about goals that he wants to accomplish going into the season. Was the idea of, like, okay, this is a Sweet 16 team, we want to go to the Sweet 16, a specific goal that got addressed during the summer or leading up to the season?
Let's start with Ashley.
Yeah, I think, like we said in the summer when he put this score from last year on the scoreboard and the Remember the Alamo shirts, just a reminder of what happened last year and knowing that we want to go one step further, which is the Sweet 16. So just kind of taking that into account, using it as motivation, and knowing what we were working for.
Yeah, going into the season, we just really wanted to be the best team we could be at the end of the season and peak at the right time. So at this point, it's trying to get to Sweet 16 because that's our game ahead right now, and that's the goal moving forward. So that's what we're focused on.
If you have a question for the student athletes, please raise your hand. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
A recording of this press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
You want Bill?
We can put, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
You can either sit there or.
He's been sitting here, so
That's
I might as well
fine.
sit him
Yeah,
down.
it doesn't matter where he sits.
We don't have any attendees on the virtual, so.
Now, hey, if nobody's,
Fine.
if
They're here,
nobody's
so.
home,
Yeah. No need to?
no
Yeah,
need to
just say it.
talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, I can see.
Oh, you can see, yeah, there's.
Back here, I like, oh, nobody home.
Nobody's
so.
there.
No.
Baylor's within 3.
It gets away from you.
Oh,
It
To
does.
3.
Wow. And you almost don't even notice it all of a sudden.
what time's Fendley?
He's at
145.
45, yeah, so we got
Oh,
15,
geez.
15 minutes, yeah.
He's gonna get a deck of cards.
If I put my computer up there, we can watch the. Did you call your wife yet, Tommy?
We did talk this morning.
Well, that's not good enough. Look at that, the romance is already gone.
She wanted me out of the house today. The
Quick reminder to please silence your cell phones. No cell phone recordings, video recordings are permissible by the media during this press conference. For those joining us remotely through Zoom, please use the raise hand function if you'd like to ask a question. Please wait for the mic holder to reach your location and state your name and affiliation before asking your question. All right, we're now joined by head coach Bill Fennelly from Iowa State. Coach Fendley, if you'd like to start with an opening statement, we'll then take questions.
Yeah, we're just watching the Baylor, North Carolina men's game. Can we, wait a minute here? Put your phones on, let me know what happens. No, we're just obviously excited to be continuing to practice and play. Proud of the way our team found a way to win last night. We have a tremendous challenge in front of us, but it's the second round of the NCAA tournament. It's supposed to be that way. So we'll see if we can get ready.
All right, we'll take questions for Coach.
Tommy Birch, Des Moines Register. Bill, I noticed towards the end of the Georgia-Dayton game, you were out watching. You had the players sitting in the stands watching. Is that an opportunity they really get they get a chance to do often during the NCAA tournament, like go out into the stands and I guess watch who they could be playing?
No, you don't get to do that very often. It's a very unique thing to this tournament, especially when you're in the second game. We kind of go back and forth on that, to be honest with you. My old high school coach used to always never let us watch games because two things would happen. You either thought the other team was really not very good or you thought the team was great and you couldn't beat them. I don't know how much our players pay attention to the game. A couple of them, I'm sure, probably taking notes. Other ones could care less. They were told to sit there, but it's a little bit of both. I think you're just trying to occupy time, especially the game was so late. So, but normally when we're in a tournament, on the road, especially, then we'll have them watch a little bit just to get a feel for it. And if nothing else, just get a feel for, the way the environment is in the building.
You're very goal-oriented, very specific about it going into the season at times. Was the idea of going to the Sweet 16 something you ever specifically, set as a goal for this team heading into this season?
No, we didn't. I think that I didn't know exactly what to expect from our team. Even though we have some kids that have played a lot, relative to the landscape of college basketball, our team's very young. And you didn't know how, and I say this seriously, like out of COVID, you didn't know how team was going to react. Last year we were never together except when you played games and you practiced, and then everyone went their own way. Then everyone was, it's going to be great that we're all together. Well, sometimes that's not great, and you don't know what's going to happen. But this group, it's been great, phenomenal. So I knew we had a chance to be a good team. But we had a lot of question marks, but specifically Sweet 16, no.
Rob Gray, Cedar Rapids Gazette. Bill, what type of dimension does Hollingshead being back add to a Georgia team that rebounds it well, defends the perimeter well, has a lot of talent, obviously?
Yeah, it's their size is almost overwhelming. I mean, they just keep bringing. When you bring a kid like that off the bench, you're like, that kid's gonna start and play 30 minutes a game on a lot of teams, and they're big, they're skilled, they know exactly what they want to do. You saw last night, they just overpowered Dayton on the backboards. Foul trouble is an issue, obviously, and it's not trying to be funny, but it's we're not going to get any bigger, taller, stronger by tomorrow. So, but I will say the one thing about women's basketball, and I've said this a lot, every rebound comes off below the rim. And sometimes you just got to want the ball more than the other dude. And we better want the ball tomorrow, or it's going to be tough. Because when they get the rebound, then they're in transition. And when they're in transition, they're just as good. Everyone talks about their size, but their guard play is really good. Morrison gets that thing going downhill, and it's hard to keep the ball in front of you. And a lot of that starts with their ability to rebound.
You joked when you learned you were going to play a 9 p.m. game, that it was past Emily's bedtime. I asked her about it was hard for her to go to sleep after such a tense, hard-fought win. What was your late night, early morning like in the aftermath of that 78-71 win?
Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit tired. Haven't slept. Got everything organized and went home and sat at the island at my house and had a couple cold drinks and watched a lot of video and probably went to bed about 3:30. Got up about 7 and right back at it. About 6 Red Bulls in right now, so I'm a little bit wired up. But that's good. We got time to sleep. So everyone's doing the same thing, but you'd be disappointed if you weren't that way. So it's
Andrew
okay.
Harrington, Iowa State Daily. In an emotional tournament like this, how important is it to quickly flip the switch from an emotional win to the next game?
No, I think it's really big. But our players, I think, will be able to do that. We've had a number of games, situations this year where we had 1 day of practice, played. That was on purpose in our non-conference schedule. So I think we'll be fine. I think there was, I don't know what the word is, relief, survived, whatever. You guys all know what I'm talking about. Like, I think our kids were a little bit numb after the game, and I think they can relax a little bit more. I thought we were loose enough, and I'm not taking anything away from Arlington. They played a phenomenal game. But we did some things that were uncharacteristic of us, and that was due to the moment, and that's what this is about. So hopefully we'll be a little bit more relaxed today in practice and show up tomorrow night and give a good account of ourselves.
I think you had said when you got home last night you watched film. Was it of you guys or of Georgia?
No, I didn't watch 1 second of our game last night. Had no interest in watching that. The problem is if you watch it again, the result might have been different. No, I did not. I did not watch 1 second of our game. It was right to Georgia, and luckily, like every coach, we had every team assigned. Billy had Georgia, and Coach Shaban had Dayton, and Coach Steyer had Arlington. So everyone. So I had literally, I just grabbed my computer and the stuff was ready to go. So it was on to Georgia for sure.
How much, when you're looking at film like that, is that compilation of a whole bunch of games? And I guess, what was that like what time did you get home and start watching?
Oh, probably 1:30. And then, but obviously we watched a little bit of last night, but a lot of it is you go back to like their conference games, because usually people in their conference play them in a certain way. Had to go back. Hollingshead hadn't played in a while, so we wanted to see that. And then you look at special situations, games that are close. What did they do at the end of the games? Things like that. So we had a lot of information ready to go, and that's a credit to my staff. They had a lot of stuff ready to go, and we met as a staff this morning at 9 and came over here, and we'll go through practice. We'll be a walkthrough day. We don't have the ability to go very hard today, so it'll be a lot of mental work today.
How late were you up watching?
Personally, I was up late, but I told the staff everyone do it on their own time. It was so late last night, I didn't want to take them to the office like we normally do, and I just said, everyone spend some time. My grandkids needed to go to bed, so my son had to get his kids to bed, and everyone else had things to do too. People do have a life, believe it or not. And I just said, everyone take some time before you go to bed, text me whatever you have, and I got text messages till 2:30, 3 in the morning from staff members. I saw this, what about this? And then we, like I said, met at 9 o'clock this morning and put a few more things together.
I think that's kind of interesting what you were saying about staff members texting you things. What were some of the insights that they were feeding back to you?
Yeah, some of it is about what happened in the game last night, what we could have done different, or what our post players could have done, or just thoughts on the game. But a lot of it was just, hey, I saw this, or hey, we're thinking about playing this way, or this, can we add, if we ran this play, what are they going to do to it? If we did this or we did that, and because everyone views it from a different lens. And it was almost better than sitting in the room together, because sometimes I think when we sit in the room together, they wait to hear what I think, and then they say, "Oh, that's a good idea," even though they don't mean it. Except for my son, he doesn't care what I think. So I think it was good. I mean, everyone can just kind of. I think everyone was. Like my wife kept saying, "I'm exhausted." And I mean, I think everyone was emotionally. The game was late. It was hard fought. All that kind of stuff. So I think it was good that everyone could just go to your own room and figure out what you want to do and send it to me. And I just put it all together, and we went through it this morning.
Connor Ferguson, Cyclone Fanatic. Coach, I know people kind of unfairly put a lot on the label of what round you make it to in the NCAA tournament every year. What would it mean to you, and also in the grand scheme of what this team is and how great this team was to reach a Sweet 16 for the first time in a decade?
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, they call it sweet for a reason. But I mean this sincerely, if we make it to the Sweet 16 or not, it's not going to take away from what this team has accomplished to me. Now, everyone else has their own opinion. That's fine. That's what you guys do. That's what fans do. That's cool. That's all right. That's the way it's supposed to be. But I think as a coach, you always try really hard to look at the big picture. And certainly, if we don't win the game tomorrow, we'll be disappointed. If we win the game tomorrow, we'll be excited. But at some point, you take a step back and look at what happened over a course of a whole season. So, we'll probably be better suited to answer that question probably kind of early next week, one way or the other.
Chuck Schaffner, retired AP. Okay, you look at this Georgia team under Joni Taylor, and you think back to the Andy Landers teams that you played. Similarities, differences? How do they
eerily similar. Big, physical, powerful inside players, athletic, skilled attacking guards, great pride in their quarter court defense, and they win a lot. I guess that's the thing, that there's something about Georgia women's basketball that, obviously what Coach Landers did is amazing, and what Coach Taylor's doing is exactly the same thing. She is one of the brightest, most articulate young coaches in our country. She's gonna have an impact on the landscape of women's basketball for a long time, not just at Georgia. Whether it's USA basketball, whether it's the way I'm on a committee with her, and to listen to her talk and articulate the needs of the game and the way the game is headed, or ideas where it should head, is amazing. And how she is able to do that, and it's no surprise what she's doing and how she's doing it.
Anthony Hansen, KURE. You just talked about the conversations you have with your staff, but you've said Emily Ryan is a coach on the court. I'm wondering what conversations you have with the leaders about film study.
Yeah, no, we talk a lot about certain things that we want to cover. I always ask them if there's something, we presented a scouting report in a certain way, and then we'll go back and say, is there something else you want to see different, something you want to see more, something that you particularly want to see? Like Emily's really interested in how teams are going to handle ball screen defense. Ash is interested in, how are they going to double team me? Lex is really obviously interested in who am I going to guard? So that's a good thing. And then we give them all little clips that they can put on their phones. Since they're on their phone morning, noon, and night, we might as well give them a little video to watch so they can get to it anytime they want. So there's a lot of ways to get them information. I think for us, we've done a better job over the years of not overwhelming them with information, because there is so much information available now that you have to be really careful. So we really try and, like, what they'll see today is about a 22-minute highlight tape out of all the information that we have, and then we'll cut that into 3 to 4 minute segments as well, inbounds plays or individual people. So try and do it in a way where, okay, I can look at it, I can absorb it, because that's the world they live in. I want it now, I want it quick, and I want it to be colorful, and you put music to it, and all right, now on to the next thing. So hopefully we've done a better job of that than we have in the past.
Last question for Coach.
No, Ashley hasn't said what her plans are for next year, but how much can a stage and in the postseason tournament really elevate her profile whenever that day comes, whether it's the end of this year or next year?
Oh, I think certainly when you do it on this kind of stage, it's your profile is elevated. And what she did last night, what she's has done in the past, and what she did against Texas, all those things. I don't think there's any doubt where Ash is in the grand scheme of things, but in that league, especially in the WNBA, it's there are teams that we've talked to that love her, and there's teams that we talk to that not big fans. So, but that's what that league's about. It's like probably how you recruit certain kids too, but it's a great opportunity for her, and I'm just glad she gets to play at least one more game at Hilton in front of her fans, and I think she's really excited about that.
Great. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Good luck.
Appreciate your time. Who won?
Thanks, Bill. UNC.
Did they win?
Dang it, sorry.
A recording of this press conference will be available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us.